See the very best in videos for your kids tomorrow on CBS This Morning.
And good morning. We're back at 17 minutes past the hour. Forget the jokes and snide remarks. Losing your hair can be serious business, and products that promise to restore your hair are big business, big to the tune of $500 million a year. The March issue of Money magazine covers the ground from toupees to surgery to minoxidil. Gary Belsky wrote the article, and he joins us this morning. Good morning. Welcome back.
Thanks.
So we can tell you are follically challenged.
I don't know why they picked me to write the story, actually.
Do any of these things work?
It depends what you want them to work for. Rogaine, which is minoxidil-based, works to the extent that in less than 10% of the people who use it, they will actually get cosmetically significant hair. Most people who use Rogaine probably do not get the full thickness of hair that they want. But what Rogaine does do, for example, is probably stop hair loss for almost anybody who uses it. So it is good if you're early in your balding career to use Rogaine, and at least you won't lose any more.
And the big news is you can buy this over the counter now.
Not yet, but in
soon?
April, yeah, the Food and Drug Administration just approved Rogaine for over-the-counter use. So instead of costing $60 a month and having to go to your doctor, you can go to a drugstore and buy it, and for about $30 a month, you can at least arrest hair loss.
But the trick is you got to keep on using this stuff.
Right. The trick is if you start using Rogaine and you stop your hair loss and maybe even grow new hair, if you don't use it for the rest of your life, twice daily applications, A, you'll lose the hair that you gained, whatever hair you do gain, and B, whatever hair you would have lost, you'll also lose over the course of time. So once you're hooked on Rogaine, you're hooked on Rogaine.
So it's not a tremendously big budget item we're talking about, $30 a month.
$30 a month, exactly. And for some people, baldness is a very, very emotional, sensitive issue. So for them, $360 a year is worth a new head.
Yeah, exactly. Now tell me about the great cover-up. Does
well,
this work?
There's the cheapest end of hair loss remedies are these things that you actually just put on your hair and to sort of cover yourself up. One is, these are actually, I mean, I'll show you, we could show it on here, your mark or something, but you actually just sort of sprinkle it on your head, and it's kind of amazing.
It's like powder.
It's like black paprika, kind of, so it sort of cooks you for, you know, a night's date. There's another thing called, and there's several kinds of options. Basically, these are, and I don't want to...
Spray it on my hand, maybe we can show. Lovely!
But look, if you look, it's sort of like a powder. It kind of comes off, and again, this is for if you're going out on a date, I guess, or if you just don't want to have to, like, deal with somebody sewing things into your hair. But the problem is if you go to bed with this, you'll wake up with it on your pillowcase, and if, for example, you're locked in some sort of romantic embrace and somebody kind of runs their fingers through your hair, they'll come out thinking that you haven't showered in a while.
Worse than makeup on the pillow. Now, a lot of people have turned to hair transplants, and the technology has improved somewhat, hasn't it?
Yeah, the original technology for hair transplants began in the 30s because Japanese women wanted to do things with their eyebrows. For a long time, transplants were a problem because, A, right after the surgery, you looked like you sort of had come from Dr. Frankenstein's operation room.
Because the plug marks show.
Because the plug marks.
Scarring lasts for a little while.
Exactly, and even afterwards, you look sort of like a Barbie doll, or maybe sort of like a row of corn in Iowa or something. There were these very regimented rows of hair on your head. Now the technologies are such that with micrografting and mini-grafting, basically they can implant 1 or 2 or 3 strands of hair in your head. It's a much more random pattern. So again, you ask if it works. It does work to some extent, but I think it looks largely like you do have transplants, and you look like you have thinning hair instead of bald. So that is somewhat of an improvement for people.
It's also very expensive.
Very expensive. Generally, you have to replace, depending on how much baldness you have, anywhere from 3,000 to 12,000 strands of hair. They take it from here and they put it here, and it can cost anywhere from about $6,000 to $12,000.
I've watched one of those procedures. It is really gross. I don't know that I would do it myself.
Well, luckily you don't need to.
Yeah, today I don't. Let's see what happens next year. Let's talk about hair pieces.
Right.
You've experimented with some.
Well, I went to a lot of the places that sell you hair pieces. And by the way, they like not to call them hair pieces anymore. They like to call them hair replacement systems. And the truth is
Come on.
Yeah, there have been some improvements. First of all, in the way that they fasten them onto your head. Now you can, the clip-on method and the tape-on method are very good. I remember when I was growing up with Uncle Seymour's hair used to sort of slide down into the turkey on Thanksgiving. Now they stay on much better. But there's also hair replacement systems that they sew or weave individual strands of hair into your head or glue them on your head. Again, they're a lot better, but they're not as good as they look in those photographs that they show you on TV or in the magazine ads. Those photographs are often very well done so that it looks like you've gone from Yul Brynner to Fabio. The truth is, of course, that that up close, you can tell that I think you can tell that somebody has a hairpiece.
But come on, folks. Let's check these pictures out of Gary and his different looks. Gary as Ted Koppel. No? See, that works for me. Now, how did you feel with that on?
I felt kind of like giving the news.
Yeah? Yeah?
I thought that was a little bit. The truth is, I didn't actually wear these. Many of these were computer enhanced. They had a magician with a computer put those on my head.
Gary as Hugh Grant. Check this one out, folks. He does have amazing head of hair. And check out Fabio. This is my favorite look for you, Gary. It worked!
I want to tell everybody that those are actually my pecs that you're seeing on the in that picture.
No doubt, no
Fabio.
doubt. Well, that was fun. Thanks for the adventure this morning. And guess what, folks? It's still there.
Yep, stays on.
No one's ever going to fool anybody with this, I'm afraid. Oh, now it's on both hands. 23 minutes after the hour. We'll be right back.